hope that she's done that. I don't know how she's been addressing it head on. I
And
haven't
we
really
live.
how she responded to that, but I don't know. Identity crisis is a mug. Something
We
else.
are live. That
Yeah,
hey, it's
man.
a shout out to everybody getting the pre-conversation. You know what I'm saying? We got the pre-show going on TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. But everybody, if y'all on TikTok, go on over to the Chop Up Show on YouTube. We live on YouTube and Facebook. So yeah, hold on, let's go ahead and get this shirt. You know what I'm saying? As usual, y'all know when y'all come in, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the share button. Hey, if you have subscribed to the Chop Up, check this out. If you subscribe to the Chop Up on YouTube, you gotta hit the notification bell to know every time we go live. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we doing it, whenever we getting it cracking. If you want to make sure you do not miss an episode of the Chop Up Show, make sure you hit that notification bell next to that subscribe button. That's how we get it in. Y'all go ahead and fill it on out. We got a very interesting conversation coming for y'all tonight. Chris in the building, Oku in the building, Ethereal Beauty in the building. We about to get it cracking. Shout out to Darlene. What's up with you? We about to learn something.
We shouting out the comment section. Hey man, we going live, man. I think you ready to hop out. Somebody said $600 stimulus check. We definitely gonna be getting into it, man.
We are talking about the stimulus check. Yes.
We're talking about the not stimulus, them head
ass. Look, stimulus head ass.
Yeah, stimulus.
Well, damn.
Hey, we here as usual. As we go ahead and get it started, let's go ahead. We got we have an intro I'm working on the way. So y'all be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, in between time, we'll go ahead.
Remember too, my mic ain't even plugged in, and I know for a fact if you go back and your mic ain't plugged in, I'm gonna be mad. I know they ain't gonna.
Hey, so hold on, right now, do I sound like Barry White to y'all? Does it sound normal?
Last episode, you definitely had something going on with.
Bro, I'm trying to figure out why y'all didn't say shit.
I feel
like you knew.
But
I feel like you knew.
Nah, I can't hear it. I'm only hearing myself as it sound when I talk into the mic. Cause like it's issues where if my cord is kind of kinked or if my cord is doing something weird, what'll happen is it'll make me sound a lot deeper. I can't hear that.
Well, yeah, you know what happened for me is I was like, is he sick? I was like,
I thought he was sick. I'm thinking like he's sick.
So I'm just like, do it how you need to do it. Like, speak from where you need to speak.
Is he tired, Toya? Is he tired?
No, man. Like my mic was funny because I'm editing, I'm listening to shit, and I'm like, yo, I sound like this the whole episode. What the fuck?
It's okay.
But it is what it is, man. As soon as we get 20 of y'all in here, we will get it cracking. So let's set it at 20. You know what I'm saying? We'll get it cracking. And again, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. You know what? Let's see if we can add the boy to it. Boom, just like that. And just like that. Hold on, let's bring it in. And just like that, we live on the Conscious Sleep page as well.
There it is.
Just like that.
There it is.
So we live on the Chop Up Show on Facebook. We live at the Chop Up Show on YouTube. And we live at The Conscious Lead on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
What's good, Noel? What's popping with you?
Shout out to Noel.
Good to see you in the building.
Thank you for joining us. We almost at that point. Let's go ahead and do it just like this here. We're going to get into that in just a second.
What's up, Noel?
We're going to get in there in just a second, but let's get it cracking like this.
We right at 7:30. Hey, if y'all haven't liked it, loved it, or shared it, subscribe to it. Y'all behind. So get caught up. All those things are important. You know, we said that, but do that. Share it for us. We're talking about our superpowers. We're talking about the whole superpower conversation. One of my favorite parts of it, I'm going to reveal of this. And then we are going to talk about T.I. He been tripping. You know, he always got something to say, and it's usually some old bullshit these days. So we're going to talk about that. And then the vaccines. We're going to talk about these stimmies. We really going to get into what it's looking like because that $600, they said is also, by the way, supposed to be coming through next week. As early as next week is when people can start to see them. And so we need to share some thoughts about that shit. But how many people we got?
31.
We up to 31. We up to 31. Let's go ahead and get it cracking.
Rocking and rolling.
Let's go again. Who trying to bring it in?
I got you. What's good? What's great? What's popping? It is December 21st, the date of the Negro solstice. I'm so happy to be here with you all. This is the Chop Up. You know what's going on. It's your girl Toya G. Happy to be with y'all rocking. To talk about some things that are important to us real quick right before we get into the Fa La 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 Christmas and then the New Year. And so I'm just happy to be with y'all. Who else am I with?
Go ahead, George.
Well, you know, it's George Lee, aka Conscious Lee. Don't forget the Lee, GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com, man. You know, education is elevation. We finna have us a nice, robust conversation about T.I. Tip Clifford Harris, these vaccines, $600 all. Is it enough?
And it's $600.
$600 all.
Yeah, and y'all know what it is, man. It's the political plug. Damo, we back for another Monday. We got a political chop. Getting into all of that, getting into the vaccines, getting to the stimulus. You know what I'm saying? And just getting into this crazy world that we live in. So let's go ahead and get it started with this Snapchat.
All right, with the Snapchat. Want to start it off with this whole crazy, beautiful, wonderful conversation Black folks have been engaging in for the last couple weeks about the Negro solstice, December 21st, 2020, the day when apparently all of the planets get into alignment in a way that has not been done in about 800 years. And according to the ancestral folds of the Black diasporic experience, Black people uniquely have their DNA mutate in ways that give them super powers. Now, this is originated from what we'll call a griot, you know what I'm saying, a historian on Twitter who decided to drop some knowledge about that, and we've been laughing and having a great time ever since. Baby Oku set me up, Jupiter and Saturn aligning more correctly, and Jonathan Ever, my bad, set me up, Jupiter and Saturn aligning in ways that haven't been happening for 800 years. And so I gotta ask, the comments, ask the chat, ask y'all, what is y'all superpower? What y'all moving with?
You know, I think even before this solstice, and you know, today I just feel a little extra special. And I think that what I've settled in my superpower, getting comfortability with my ability, is the ability to not really give a fuck. I have a very, very a quick inclination or disposition to not giving a fuck. Somebody got something to say about how they feel about what I said? Don't really give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So I think with this solstice it's exploded that not giving a fuck isness. You know what I'm saying? And my followers on TikTok, my followers on Instagram, the followers of the Chop Up will see that over the course of the end of this year and going into 2021. A lot of not giving a fuck.
Sure.
Hey, you know, and I've been on my Super Saiyan Sagittarius shit. That's what I think is coming in for me right now. Like the blunt straightforwardness, philosophical, you know, quest for knowledge. I think that it's like going into like the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like this means the content finna be Now it's really my ability to be able to, I feel like, speak truth to power in a way that's real accessible. I just feel like it's something bubbling. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like I have a little bit of clarity on what I need to be doing and what I don't need to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Almost like the knowledge of self-love, self-care, all that. I feel like it's starting to come in tune more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that. What about you, Toya?
I mean, before I get to myself, I'm startled. Melodious ramblings. Melodious in here tripping. I now have the ability to get up from the toilet with confidence without wiping. Ooh.
Yeah, wow. It ain't working the right way for you, Melodious. It ain't working the right way.
Hey, you never know. You don't want to underestimate. You never know. You know.
Right. Hey, listen, because see, that's when not giving a fuck becomes a gift and a curse. Goddamn. Yeah. That's when not giving a fuck has become a gift and a curse. But what about you, Toya?
You know, this is going. It ain't even nothing special. It ain't nothing funny. The superpower to just be. I think I'm really kind of getting in my bag with that.
Okay.
Getting a whole lot more comfortable with it. I think the coronavirus has allowed me a little bit too much time to myself. And that's a superpower in and of itself. A lot of people can't be can't just exist. They got to be in something, be about something, be on something. And in a lot of ways, I will still be on my bullshit, but I just want to be. And my superpower is about to be that. Like, I'm really getting more and more confidence and not caring. And similar, I guess, just not caring what other people think. I'm not worried, not bothered. Yeah. I'm not concerned.
Yeah. So there you have it. Yeah, we got, you know what I'm saying? We got the Super Saiyan Sagittarius. Yeah, I mean, we got the sister that B. You feel me? And you got a nigga who don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's a hell of a Justice League. You know what I'm saying? We'll get the Avengers a run for their money. You know what I mean? But shit, that's the Snapchat. Them black superpowers have been activated.
Hey, before we get out of there, I just want to say some of my favorite posts were about niggas who don't get their superpowers. So if you are internally anti-black, if you are a black Trump supporter, if you talk bad about black women or black queer folk, if you don't have a sensitivity to disability, if you don't respect the ways that just other black people exist, no superpowers for you. If they ain't tapped on by now, they're not coming, and I don't feel sorry for you.
But
you get nothing.
That idiot. You know what I mean? Moving on. Let's go ahead and get into this. What's this?
Yeah, man. Hey, moving on, man. I wanna be petty and call this the Grand Hustle Chop, but I ain't gonna do that. We're gonna call it the Conscious Chop.
The Conscious Chop. Let's get it.
One of the reasons why I think this is kind of a topic that kind of hit my mind a little different, because every time I make videos, there's always at least those handful of comments like, "Oh my God, you remind me of T.I. You sound like T.I."
Yeah.
So, before we get into exactly what we're getting into now, just so everybody's aware of the laundry list of lost in the sauce of pseudo intellectual shit that T.I. done did and said. You know, the first thing that kind of got into the social media realms that kind of got shared a lot is when he said that, he goes to the gynecologist with his daughter to make sure she still has a hymen. He said that later. He said that was
for her birthday, by the way.
Oh yeah, for her birthday, a full adult daughter. You know what I'm saying? Not a full adult daughter at that. You know what I mean?
You checking your grown daughter hymen. Continue. Well, like high school age, because George, you know how the niggas like to parse through and be like, "Bro, she high school age daughter hymen." But continue. Not that it make a difference, but continue.
Still out of line. Second thing he said a few weeks ago, he was on some shit like, women only want men with bitches. So if you ain't got no bitches, then you can't get no women. So women, he said the misogyny you speak so poorly of, you really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Go back and check it. He literally
said that the misogyny that women speak so poorly of, they really like.
They use it as a metric to determine whether they're gonna mess with somebody or not, right? If you a dude who ain't got no women, then what I look like trying to go for you and run for you, you not desirable. You're not somebody people want. So I'm not finna be the one.
And listen, with today being December 21st, we just got done talking about superpowers. For y'all that don't know, the original How High movie was dropped on this day, I think in 2005, December 21st. You feel me? So R.I.P. to you know what I'm saying? What was his name in the movie where they smoked him? R.I.P. to
Ivy. R.I.P. to Ivy.
R.I.P. to Ivy.
Yeah.
You feel me? In that movie though, Redman and Method Man, I can't remember which one it was, but they had failed women.
It was Redman. Redman said,
and Redman said, like, I failed women's studies. I love bitches. And when I was young, that joke went over my head. You feel me? Now when T.I. is talking on Expeditiously, he the expeditiously go pick up a dictionary and get better context on the word misogyny. But recently, what he said a couple days ago, he said some shit like, fathers, we have to spend time with our daughters and go on the father daddy dances and things like that, because like what little dude says.
Let's see.
Fat prevention hours.
Let me see.
You got it right.
We wanted out the horse's mouth.
Put in them fat prevention hours. Keep your daughter off the pole. You know what I'm saying? So you player guilt. When T.I. talks about thought prevention hours, spending time with his daughter, he's literally talking about that parasitic patriarchal guilt.
I'm gonna stop it there, because if y'all haven't watched the video, y'all need to go check it on either the Chop Up Show page or Conscious Lee's page. But thought prevention hours, keeping your daughter off the pole.
Prevention
That's
hours, man.
That's the reason you should go spend time with your woman child. You know what I'm saying? Is because you want them to stay off the pole. To be clear.
I mean, but when you got a daddy like T.I., shit, like the message that you have been proliferating for. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like, because the first thing that's gonna happen. Let me go ahead and speak on this. The first thing that's gonna happen is niggas gonna be like, "Stop! Don't act like you wasn't jamming out to the T.I. Get Loose was my joint. And let me see you get loose.
Get loose.
That's the jam, right?
Ladies and gentlemen,
think about it though. That is a thought promoting song. Let me say it again. That's thought promoting right there. You create a career.
You can have whatever you like. Is a song that is encouraging tricking.
Is encouraging tricking?
But it ain't tricking if you got it. He literally says those words in the song. Like I don't understand. And you know, Willie L. Terry, you can undermine the conversation, minimize it if you want to. You're probably one of those men out there wondering.
Willie already got washed up in the debate, man. If y'all curious, man, you can go to YouNow right now, and I handed Willie his lunch when it came to talking about black patriarchy.
So I love how
you know what I'm saying. Shout out to you though, Willie.
T.I. is an easy target. You clearly an easy target because you got handled, but also these same black men out here talking about how much these women got daddy issues. Look at the issue. Look at the daddy. Look at him, and you probably want
to look at the dad. God damn it, say it again. Look at the daddy.
Look at the daddy.
It's like, come on, bro. Like, and this is the stupidity of misogyny, right? This is the backwards ass logic of it. You feel me? Like everything else is like all other women are objects, something to be objectified, sex objects, whatever. Until it's a daughter, then like I respect my daughter. I love my daughter. But what you doing is you already displaying, you teaching other niggas how to treat your daughter though. Now, and so it don't matter if you put in
your sons, you literally teaching your sons how to treat your daughter. Let's I mean, the man got a bunch of kids. You got hella children, and you've been on display providing your guidance and tutelage to all of your children, and you've had little to nothing to say about the way you raise your man children, and the things that you do have to say are a whole bunch of passes, a whole bunch of slips, a whole bunch of bullshit, and the things you have to say about the young women that you're raising is equally bullshit. Like it's wild that you are even able to talk out of both sides of your mouth like that. But that's what and do it in the public and do it out in the open. Like most people would keep those contradictions to themselves. You thinking you sound good expeditiously are just out here running your mat, flapping your jobs, and you look dumb.
Yeah, and it's like we as fans, like it's like, all right, we respect your music, and it's like all this other shit. And I never want to be a shut up and dribble ass nigga. But I feel like if your introduction into the conversation is proliferating bullshit, shut up and dribble. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't fuck up while we appreciate who you are in the first place. Because right now,
instance, man, he just.
I mean, because Derlin said right there, that's somebody else's daughter shaking their ass and modeling in your video. So where's your line for respect and dignity? Why is it not any deeper than that? Right? And then you have what'd you say?
Nah, go ahead. Because I'm just gonna recite some lyrics. I'm gonna keep it a couple seconds, but I'm gonna recite some lyrics. Yeah,
you have the people like Ethereal Beauty said, somebody on y'all Instagram page responded to me, got blocked, made another account to comment again, got blocked again just to support T.I.'s bullshit. And that's what like the investment in it is what becomes so bewildering in somebody else's life and how they even raise their kids. Not only do y'all co-sign it, y'all defend it. Notice those are two different things. It's one thing to be like, yeah, I agree with that. It's another thing to put in the labor to get in some comments to let people know that y'all are trash fathers and trash men in relationship to the women that are in your life. It's really amazing to see. And what Lee was getting at in the video that he posted is that a lot of y'all use the proximity to women as a justification to be misogynistic and to be problematic to them. And for some reason, the manness that you've been assigned puts you in a position to be a protector. And so you get to win being on the right side of right. This is what I'm supposed to do. Nigga, nobody asked you for nothing.
Oh, and then I think that how he ended that video talking specifically to fathers, the genre of fathers, like literally fathers, we have to do X, Y, and Z. So X, Y, and Z doesn't happen. It's like, hey, my guy, every woman that you then threw stacks on, every woman that you done told she can have whatever he like. He literally says at the beginning of his song, that one of his hit, like literally, hey girl, let me see you dance like them girls in that Tip Drill video. Hey Shawty, let me see you get loose.
Yeah,
because
Like,
let me
that's somebody. They got a father.
And look now coming up as a youngster, right? This because this is my thing. You make the art that you make. You rap about what you rap about. But ultimately, there has to be a reckoning. And I feel like what rappers do is they think they can just transition into lecturing motherfuckers when everything that you represented was counter everything else. You know what I mean?
I would say representing. Like literally, you just had a song with Chris Brown. You know, I'm gonna go past the songs though. It's like let's
not go past the songs though, because what, like for example, you know, as we got into kind of the literature that George that kind of helped us divorce ourselves from some of the thought processes that we had earlier on, it was certain things that we had to go back and question, right? And for example, this verse, the second or T.I.'s second verse on Get Loose, I thought he was rapping his ass off. I did, ultimately. This is what he says, right? I'm gonna just recite some of it. You ready to get loose? Shawty better be sitting on them leather seats. If not, pat your feet on the concrete merrily. I'm gonna put your ass out if you ain't talking about busting it open. Essentially what he's saying. Freak by choice, not forced. I will never be charged with a rape. If she say no, I'm gonna let her be. You can appreciate that. There's some consent involved. So he has some level of understanding. All right. He's not the bar is low though, when we got to give you credit for not rape. You know what I'm saying? That's a low bar, but let's continue. Why should I let that worry me? Too many bitches cherish me. Pimp till I die, be a player till they bury me. Renegade, I'ma keep it pimping. I ain't finna play. Anyway, I can hit the baddest bitches any day. This is where he gets into it though. I've slept with the best. I ain't got a flex. Got your girl stressed out, pulling up her dress, checking out her spread, and I am impressed. And then I ain't gonna go no further than that because it just gets more gratuitous.
More gratuitous graphic.
Gratuitous and graphic, correct. It gets gratuitous and graphic. And that's the thing, bro. Like the conversation that you having and talking about thought prevention, you have already weaponized a young man like myself, to actually play out the promotion of the thought tree that you so-called against. Now, this ain't getting into talking about, you know, sexual liberation and what women choose to do with their bodies and everything else. Because T.I. ain't having that conversation.
He against that. Like he's obviously against it. You know what? He's for it as long as it ain't his daughter. If it ain't his daughter, it's hey, let's get away and get a room on the other side of town. But if it's goddamn his daughters, it's like, hey man, thought prevention albums.
Look, if it's T.I.'s daughter, then it's woman thou art loose, motherfucker.
You stupid.
You know,
so I think Lee, I was asking you a question earlier in the conversation about how, because you know, I was like looking in the comments about a whole bunch of stuff. You mind if I toss that question out there?
Definitely.
A lot of the comments that I seen on Twitter from a lot of men and even some women was like, okay, let's be honest, right? He was like, they was just like, let's just be honest, you know, because y'all want men in their kids' lives. You want people to be daddies to their kids, do this, that, and the other. What about that? And so a lot of people were saying the delivery was off, but the message had some merit to it. And so I want to ask the comments, and I want to ask y'all, is it a question of, is there anything to what he's saying? Is it just a question of the delivery being off? Or is he tripping in relationship to spending time with his child really being something that prevents the thoughterry that he's so worried about? Like, is there a connection there? What do y'all think in the comments, and what do y'all think? Like, was the delivery off, or is the whole message just trash?
I think the whole message is trash, but because of how misogyny is so normalized in our society, I feel like from a teaching standpoint, I had to almost explain to homeboys and bite the bullet. Like, it's not what he said, but how he said it. But if you look at what he's saying, not even how he's saying it, but what he's saying, it's like, that's bullshit, folks. First of all, you're not persistent like that when it comes to your kids, when it comes to your sons. And then second, it's like literally you're saying that the ruler and how you measure how you spend time with your daughter is based off of you being invested, how she sexually expresses herself or her sexual experiences. Listen, I'm a father. I got a daughter. I'd rather teach my daughter about consent and goddamn intellectual, you know what I'm saying? Emotional intelligence. You feel me? I don't care how many bodies she got. That ain't none of my business. You know what I'm saying? And when T.I. talking about fighting, he's literally talking about, as a father, him being invested in the amount of bodies that his daughter has. That's bullshit. And I think that a lot of niggas get lost in the sauce of conflating control with protection. So you think that if you can control your daughter, you can protect her. And it's like, nah, man. As a matter of fact, a lot of the girls you claim you took advantage of, I bet a lot of them had fathers in like they was trying to control them like you trying to control your daughter. So to me, I look at it like when you try to pathologize every stripper for being broken or not having no emotions or not having no father, and you had your ass in a strip club every week. Even I seen Will saying some crazy shit like, I don't see no strippers protesting him. He's paying college tuitions. It's like, listen, even if you think that way, you have to acknowledge the obvious contradiction. So the reason why I want to be petty inside when the name is Grand Hustle, imagine, Toya, I say I'm a hustler. That means I got value in the fruits of my labor. You feel me? That means I value every way I'm able to get money and get able material gain out of my hustle.
Right.
What does it mean for me to say that strippers are emotionally broken, looking for themselves, and for me to go throw my hard-earned Grand Hustle money
emotionally broken
that's trying to find themselves?
Yeah.
How much, like, to me, it's like a contradiction. So is you about your money or nah? And second, it's like, what does it mean for you to go into this space and place and you having a great time around emotionally broken people trying to find themselves? Now, it sound like you got some issues. It sound like you trying to worry about your daughter having daddy issues. So you got some mommy issues to deal with or something. And I think that's the part that I'm gonna shut up now. I'm going off. I'm gonna chill. But it's like, man,
nigga, you know already made the video. Everybody know already seen. Nah.
But, I got it. Because he said that women only want a man that has bitches. So that means he's setting his daughter up to either be a thought to get a nigga, and or she has to compete with thoughts to get a nigga.
Hey, and when you compete with thoughts, it's a
come on now.
But okay, I'm gonna slightly disagree. Because I do think that if you remove the patriarchy and the misogyny, it's literally just spend time with your kids. If you remove that, right? But I will admit, though,
but it's not your kids. There's no mention of, and this is the problem. Men can be thoughts. Let's stop it. Like, I think we haven't talked about the gender dissociation with thoughterly, what it is and what it looks like, all the way down to there being men that strip and get on a pole, down to men, the niggas be hoes. Like, we know it, y'all know it, they know it. T.I.'s a hoe. He been with so many women. He said, ask him. He said he not lying in the verse you just spit.
Yeah. He said he a thought.
He said, why should I let that worry me? Too many bitches cherish me. Pimp till I die, be a player till they die. I can't do that. My fault. We criticize him. We criticize him.
With your kids, it's spend time with these little girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be specific about what he's saying. And these niggas is who need guidance. They need development. They've seen is him cheat on his mama, on the mama. That's all they
because they all got different mamas, goddamn it. They all got different.
All they seen is the daddy cheat on a woman he's supposed to love in public.
But Toya, though, this is what I'm saying though. What I mean by, like, okay, the message itself is
go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna tell Willie. You said it's 23 people in here. It can be 22 if you want to leave. We're fine with that.
It's actually 48 people here too. So you lying. We
on multiple platforms.
You can go.
And look, and the funny thing about it is, how you hating from outside the club?
You can't even get it.
A nigga is talking about,
hey, drinks, bro. I want my Dos Equis, man.
I go follow him so he can get the attention he needs.
Y'all go subscribe to Willie L. Terry. We'll see how many.
Whatever that is.
But we glad though, because that means, you know what I'm saying, we giving them something to listen to. We entertaining this nigga, so it's all good.
He's been here for a few minutes now.
It's cool. He don't deserve no fame.
Really one of them old school Gen X black men that believe that, you feel me, bitch better have my sandwich. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't understand why bitch better have my sandwich, there's something wrong with you. That's natural order. Natural order is for man to be the head of the household and for women to be able to make a sandwich.
But at the same time, this nigga really ain't got nothing to do with the conversation, so we just gonna let him sit in the audience and enjoy the show. But he
has everything to do with the conversation, though. He T.I., my nigga. That's the T. Listen, everybody that agree with T.I. in some way, shape, form, or fashion has the perspective of Willie T Taro Willie a wheel straight up.
Which is and I mean and that's where that shit gets problematic, right? Because it ain't no productive relationship you could produce with your daughter if your perspective on helping her understand self-worth is policing her, is the control over her body. Nigga, like you don't teach self-worth by taking away control or by dictating, you know what I'm saying, any particular perspective. And let's be real here. The reason why we even talking about this in the first place, and this is a conversation that we've had plenty of times. And if you're a fan of the Chop Up, this ain't the first time you've heard us talk about T.I. And so, you know, we don't give a fuck about Willie. Like that's just another nigga in the chat or another nigga on the internet. The problem is again, we view T.I. as like this, as the conscious nigga of hip hop. No, bro, no. Like this is just another example of how the way that we understand intellectualism in Black communities, we gotta raise the fucking bar. I mean, this ain't no different from when you had the niggas that was going around telling women that they shouldn't have menstrual cycles because it mean that they, you know what I'm saying, something is off or some bullshit. Like if I break it off or some shit. It's the same logic, right? We see like this goofy shit and we be like, damn, he owned something. Like, nah, that's anti-intellectual.
I think I hate that in a world where we have, and I guess we got to see it all. I'm really appreciative of a time in our society where I feel like more than ever Black fathers and diverse Black fathers, like niggas that identify as niggas that walk around and talk and move in that paradigm and understand themselves that way, are showing themselves to be good, solid, steady dads. You know what I'm saying? Like I know so many good Black dads. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not an anomaly to me anymore. And this is a world where my dad was not in my life.
I forgot. That's me too.
I'm gonna let him have it. Have your time.
I forgot. Yeah.
I'm also new dad. Shout out. I think my little baby Huey is 2 weeks old or something like that. Like he's still fresh out here on the scene. But I love that, and I just really hate that images like T.I.'s or his blueprint or his consciousness and the platform that he has ends up becoming instructional for niggas and how they think about how to raise their kids. Because there's too many other solid, bold examples of what it looks like to be a good Black dad out there. And these are affirming, loving, caring, just A1 fathers. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. T.I.'s trash. His perspective is trash. I think we made it clear.
Let me ask second question in. I just want to ask second question, and we can just want second question real fast. So, how do y'all feel about fathers being invested in their daughter's sexual expression, sexual experiences? Am I fucked up? Am I weird for saying it's weird?
I think when you say investment, that's a really big term. And I think fathers do need to be investment in some components of their daughter's sexual development. You need to be giving your daughter the game about what these niggas will try to say, how they will move, how it runs, how it plays, when to recognize when a nigga's about to take it too far, how to defend yourself, how to that's what you give her the game.
Consent. You see everything you said that was about consent.
In the violation thereof. Like, absolutely, I think you should be invested in, but without being overbearing. You are allowed to make your own decisions. I want you to have the discernment to understand when things have gone too far. You can even go as far as to say, I would prefer that you didn't do these things, but in a world where I can't control that, here are some things that I want you to know. Let's not pretend like your daughter not having sex. That's the other problematic end of the component, where you just pretend that the girl ain't out there living her life, and then when she come to you with some real shit, now all of a sudden you up in arms and mad. You're behind the ball on that then, Dad. But instead, an investment needs to be a healthy one that starts by recognizing the toxic, patriarchal, masculine shit that you need to unpack and deal with based on all the
maybe policing is probably the word I should be saying. Weird that men will police,
yeah, and that's what I would
experiences and sexual experiences and expressions.
And that's what I was actually saying in terms of, while when you remove what he did is he took a situation that should be like about caring, because like you said, there should be some investment in the sexuality of your child in terms of helping them understand themselves, helping them understand like when they go through those processes, like giving them the proper education in terms of knowing what's happening to them, because you can't dictate their sexual experiences, their sexual identity. You can't dictate nothing, because ultimately we got to understand these are people. They may be young people and they figuring themselves out, but we all was at that age at some point, and right now we standing here as individuals, and so that investment has to be there. But like you said, where it goes left is when that investment becomes policing and controlling, and that's the unhealthy shit. And when we assume that it takes policing in order for our children to have healthy sexual identities or healthy sex, that shit never worked. That's why they always talked about the pastors' kids. Pastors' kids were always the worst kind of kids.
Yeah,
they was never allowed to do shit.
So that once they got a chance to do shit, they was doing
as soon as they got the chance to do shit, they was doing all the worst shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when like we've sat and watched all of these methods of rearing children fail. We are even, some of us are definitely victims, or not necessarily victims, but products of failed parenting techniques. Shit don't work. It's shit like even us sitting all on this panel. And I'm not speaking as a new father. I'm speaking as a nigga who just spent some time with his mama in a way that I haven't spent time with her since I was a kid, and realizing that some ways that she approached shit got me to where I don't like even how me and my wife interact. If I feel that same energy, I shut off. You know what I'm saying? Like because it was there was some unhealthy things in the way that my mama communicated, because it was some unhealthy things in the way that my grandma communicated with her.
Yeah.
And niggas is looking at it becomes shit and trying to run with it. Go ahead,
it's generational for sure. Just the way that you really piece that together and kind of created that lineage of, you know, messed up approaches to how you deal with stuff, and also repatching those things and breaking generational, well, you know what they say, generational curses, or however you want to talk about that. But the ways that we have to set, you know, a frame out for other folks. I want to read
generational curses are just generational practices.
Which
shit
really
that never worked
that produce the same results. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like it's not, you're not
traditions though. Traditions. I was raised this way and I came out all right. I turned out all right.
And then you look at him and be like, no,
nah, you ain't all right.
I'm gonna read some comments and then I'm gonna kind of throw my little last final statement on it, and then I'm gonna toss it back to Lee, and then we can do what we want to do from there. A Thorough Beauty said that required them to understand all those things in the first place, and a lot of people don't understand consent from a general perspective and not a male focused perspective, and that's absolutely true, right? Even the big misnomer that people lie about consent, and I'm gonna talk about the male focused perspective in a second, but there's just a lot of problematic ways that we understand consent. People don't even understand what consent truly is or how that conversation has developed. Right now we're at a time of affirmative consent, which means that I have to say yes to every escalation of the interaction, and anything beyond beside that or outside of that is a negation of that.
And even saying yes ain't enough. You ain't saying yes because motherfuckers
the plot of stick on this whole thing.
Coercion is a bitch.
You know? Christopher says, hey, parents can police a minor sexual conduct to the degree of, I can tell you're going to be harmed in this situation, but policing based on sexual activity alone is not a thing. I agree 1000%. Ethereal says it creates an unhealthy obsession over the unknown, which is true, right? You so worried about and speculating what your child is doing, what they're not doing, this, that, and the other. Now you become in a weird way obsessed with them and their own sexuality, and you have your own. Like, you know what I'm saying? Attend to what you're doing and how things are going in that area.
Maybe that's the other word to use too. Instead of investment, either policing or obsession.
Melodious Ramblings said that trauma under the guise of discipline is a massive issue in the community, and that's a fact.
That's
like,
big. That's big.
And it's like, I mean, you know, we talking about policing in terms of like from patriarchy standpoint and how that turns into misogyny, like teaching young women misogyny. But you know, when we get into like the corporal punishment, you know what I mean, beating kids' ass, like that shit is not healthy. That shit is not healthy at all. But it's like, the kid, if you got a lot of whoopings, then you wasn't bad. Nah, bad kids got beat the fuck down, and they was still fucking bad.
It was still bad.
Yeah.
One thing, Abigail, shout out to you giving love to Journey. She dipped on me. She got out the room because I wasn't paying no attention, but I'm gonna make sure I show her some love. Terrell says investment is a telling word. It suggests that there is some type of return or desired outcome. If you can invest less like a banker and broker and more like a gardener, caretaker, or something more organic, then that's something different. And that's the kind of, and that's what I want to talk. I think that's a good segue to what I was thinking about, this whole idea of investment. I think there needs to be equal investment in your children. What we don't understand, and another thing we have to deal with, is the fact that one, young boys are being taken advantage of sexually and don't recognize it. They thinking they having a good time time and enjoying some sexual endeavor early, not realizing that they've been sexually assaulted or they've been manipulated in ways that they don't understand. And young women too, right? It's not to create a taboo around sex and consensuality, but a lot of these young kids their parents is worried about their hymens being intact and they've been assaulted. They've been engaged in ways that they don't know how to handle or navigate because we're not having equal conversations with all of our kids about what it means to just be on that level with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not having realistic conversations about that. You think you're giving them the real and they not. The second thing that I say is we beyond time, and a lot of parents too scared for this, but to be gendering these conversations and assuming that women don't have sexual issues and conflicts and violations and all types of things. There are a lot of queer women who have very misogynistic tendencies, ones that especially at times have a more masculine orientation and paradigm, feel like some of that masculinity is best occupied when they do a lot of the toxic shit that niggas do. And so there have to be conversations about the warning signs of that. We need to be having just conversations that are real to put kids in all the possible scenarios that they can be in, not just the ones we want to idealize and say, I know it's going to look like this for you, so let me go ahead and nip this shit in the bud. People not even having real conversations with their kids about what being sexually involved with other people look like, the emotional baggage that come with it. Nobody's talking about that. It's just if you get touched and if you come back pregnant and you better not have no STD and this, that, and the other. But niggas not getting into doing the work. There are levels of inevitabilities here in the just living in the culture we live in. These kids gonna be touching and feeling and thinking and doing. It's your job to be moving and be in tune with your specific child, because I can't tell you when the right time is, but to know your specific child and be paying enough attention with them, not to prevent thought hours, not thought prevention activities, but just know what the hell where your kid is developmentally so that they ready to start dealing with other people in any type of way, let alone sexually.
Dealing with the world.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't even enough with your child to know how they move on any level with that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, and I think that when I said investment, I'm thinking of T.I. spends time with his sons, but that time with his sons is not looked at as an investment that's going to impact and influence their sexual experience or their sexual expression. And if it is, it's supposed to be outward and being plentiful experiences and as outward sexual expression as possible. And that's what I meant by investment. But I do think that I'm glad this conversation happened, because I think that I can be much more precise with my language, specifically when it comes to talking about I feel like this criticism, because in my opinion, I think T.I., if you want to say there was some good intentions of T.I., I think T.I. was concerned with his daughter being emotionally exploited. And I think that T.I. was speaking from guilt of being of having an experience in history of being able to emotionally exploit women, i.e., you can have whatever you like and let's get away and all these other songs. You feel me? These are all these examples of how he was being basically able to perpetuate and push.
I mean, which lets you know there is some level of register. Ooh, I just did the way I did her. That was something else. Like,
we don't even have to
use the phrases I want to use that I know niggas use when it comes to situations like that. When they come back and say, "Hey, bro, I blanked her out. I did this, that, whatever."
We're not that explicit with it. It's more like,
but I'm saying,
hate it had to be her.
That represents to me a level of consciousness of what you're doing, how you moving, how it looks, how it feels, how it could be perceived, and you still just like, but that's how I move. But my daughter better not never, and that shit just so wild to me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
T.I. is not. I mean, before we move on, let me just make sure we say this the last time, and then we can go to the next chapter. T.I. is not the intellect of the book. Actually, T.I. is a representation of a caricature of black intellect. Period. Y'all know how we had the what was the nigga name in jail on In Living Color? You know, we proliferate with the certificates.
Oswald Bates.
You know, we had Oswald, right? Now we got T.I. Expeditiously ass nigga. That's what we got. We got T.I. That is a caricature of black intellectualism. You got cisgender black men who are speaking on issues as it relates to gender, sex, and sexuality with an understanding and a respect for the multiplicity, the multifaceted nature of these conversations. You know what I mean? T.I. should not be a reflection of how those conversations should go down.
Period. What's up next, man? What's up next, man? Education elevation. T.I. holla at me, man.
well, shit, from there, we can actually go ahead and get into the political chop. It's been a minute. Have we done a political chop? I feel like it's been a little bit since we did a political chop. But anyway, let's get into it. The political chop. We got some interesting things happening in the world today. Scary things that are happening in the world today under the newly elected President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. But first, let's talk about these damn stimulus checks.
The stimmies.
Let's talk about the stimulus check. So, Congress was finally able to come to a conclusion. We almost had another shutdown, and that would have been a bitch. If we had a shutdown, like a government shutdown during COVID, during the holiday season, while, you know what I'm saying, that shit would have been all fucked up, right? But luckily, they not just completely, you know what I'm saying, incompetent, and they was able to come to some type of conclusion to create this new stimulus package. But we know what people give a fuck about, and that is the stimulus checks. Now, according to CNN, the package would send direct stimulus payments of $600 to individuals, which is half the amount provided in the first round of checks, which went out in the spring. Eligible families will receive an additional $600 per child. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? We figured that out. I don't think it's 100 more than Congress gave families in the first round of the relief last spring. The payments start phasing out for individuals with adjusted gross incomes of more than $75,000, and it's fucked up. Not even net. Adjusted gross income, $75,000, and those making more than $99,000 would not receive anything. The income threshold would be doubled for couples, so it would be like down near $200,000 up in that area, in order for you to not be able to get it. Last little bit of.
Do they have all them financial clauses? We're giving corporations money?
No, I don't think that they do.
Well, what you should know about it overall is that $600 times 328 million people, which is how many people live in this country, is $196.8 billion. However, the bill that they just passed is a bill worth $900 billion. Again, the bill, the amount going to the American people is $196.8 billion. 196.8 out of 900 billion. So guess who's getting the other $700+ billion?
Corporations.
There we have it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ugly part about it, because it's like
trickle down theory, guys. Reaganomics, man.
What's the easy? Like, I mean, how much easier can you make it to tell a motherfucker that you just don't give a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like how much easier can you make that? Because it's $600 ain't even paying some people rent. Like, that's why, you know, the phrase "stimulus" is extreme, because you ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you know, the homeless person, you get like, you know, they be like, hey, you got $5, so I could, and then you give them $1, and they look at you like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
I think what's wild is that the $1,200 was not enough, right? When we look at Canada and the $2,000 they've gotten for the last 10 months, they've gotten $20,000.
Cut it in half on that.
$20,000. 10 months times 2,000 is $20,000 since we've gotten in this. That is them getting their tax money back. You don't give it back to me when I get my refunds and when I do my taxes. By the way, you make my taxes hard because you know how much I owe you, but you make me calculate that shit and possibly mess it up so that I have to pay you more in penalties and late fees and this, that, and the other. We're not gonna get there, right? We're not gonna put that there. But the taxes that we pay, y'all literally holding them hostage. Y'all gave us a funky $1,200 before, and the average American rent is probably $900. $900. So people gonna pay the rent and then do what? Sit in the house?
Like $600, that's a grocery bill for a month.
Not turn no lights on. And so the $1,200 wasn't enough. You cut that in half. Nancy Pelosi, by the way, I don't know if y'all heard today, she said she said it's not as much as we wanted, but it's still a significant amount going to American households. Tell you how out of touch they are. By the way, every congressperson who has been in session making decisions about this since we started, since the last package came through, has made $100,000, over $100,000 just to be in the sessions they've been in. But they sent us $600 a piece. So all this bullshit, and then we see the money that goes there. I think Tom Brady's small business, whatever he does, got $900,000 in money. There are I think there were like 2 other people I saw on some tweet that got some of the relief and in the millions. He was the third, like the lowest amount. He got $900,000. People got $1 million here, $2 million here.
It's like, how do these people even qualify for this shit?
How?
Like at a time where the whole purpose is to make sure the people that don't have are able to have something. How the fuck is it that the people that have the most, I mean, I'm saying how the fuck is it? That's rhetorical. It's like it's the fucked up logic of capitalism.
Capitalism.
Let me not even be facetious. It's just super fucked up how in every turn our government is reminding us that motherfucking corporations that pay less taxes than the motherfuckers who don't make shit. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
In every which way, this, you know, and we say this government, but you got the Republicans who spearhead the shit, the Democrats who act like, well, you know, you shouldn't do that, but then go along with every effort to make sure that these motherfuckers are straight anyway. That's why I want to make sure that as we go into this Democratic presidency with this black vice president and his moderate Democrat ass old white man president, that we remember that getting complacent with these motherfuckers is how we got Trump in the first place.
Facts.
Getting complacent with the type of Democrats, and let's be for real, the Republicans couldn't even get shit done when they controlled all of government, House, Senate, presidency, Supreme, couldn't get shit done. Democrats now are going. I mean, they hoping for a tie, which if they get both seats in Georgia, that'll give them a tie, but then give them advantage because Kamala Harris will break any tie in Congress as vice president. But they go in here with the advantage of the presidency and the advantage of some fuck like literally recovering off of fucked up ass Democrats, and you still with the unpopularity that Donald Trump has cast and the shadow that he has cast on Republicans, you motherfuckers still can't come through with something that's marginally beneficial. Chuck Schumer is useless. Nancy Pelosi is fucking.
And that's, you know, one of the things that has really been interesting, you know, when we talk about the political theater behind it and what's going to happen. This presidency is a last-ditch effort by the Democrats to redeem themselves in the eyes of the American people. However, the redemption can't happen if, for example, the elections down in Georgia don't air the Democrats' way, and Democrats are able to take over and start to really push a whole lot more shit through. I think who was that just said King A official said the Democrats wanted $2.2 trillion in their package as opposed to the $900 billion that was passed. And so more Democrats would, you know, in other scenarios like this, be able to push more aid through. But in a world where they don't win those elections down there, we don't control the House, which means Democrats don't get things like this accomplished. Not only this, but throughout the next whole 4 years, which means the American people are going to lose a lot of trust in Democrats, largely because they already fallen on their face with this. Americans about to have a long memory about how this shit is playing. And so it's unfortunate. One of the other things I wanted to point out was Christopher's question, because there is some room for nuance here. He says, not that I agree with the money going to corporations, but do we know how they are able to use this? I.e., there are people's jobs that will be cut or corporations don't receive this money. But to be clear, $600 isn't enough. And that's something that I do think about, right? The more that these corporations go under, the more layoffs happen, the more they start closing down stuff. A lot of our airlines, for example, have planes just sitting in Arizona right now because travel is down, flight is down. That industry is held up by business travel. You know who especially ain't traveling? Businesses. Ain't no conferences happening. You know what I'm saying? So that industry is starting to really break down in and of itself. And so they need the stimulus to keep jobs going, to find shit for niggas to do until this boils over. So it's real.
But I think that perspective though is to me exposing the contradiction of capitalism. On one end, we expect for the economy to be able to make up the safety net for how corporations are losing, you know what I'm saying, labor, literally. But we don't have that same energy for how citizens are losing labor, literally. True. So we still see there's a contradiction. And then me just knowing the data that I know, it's like, well, we know that in the past 10, 15 years, the amount of people that's been laid off has astronomically, you know what I'm saying, increased. Even when we have bailouts, we still see that bailout money goes to vacations and
Bonuses,
and it doesn't go to the labor force. So we still see how this is, to me, exposing criticism. Exposing a contradiction within capitalism, because the money is not going to go to the bottom line anyway. We got taught in high school the criticism of Reaganomics and trickle down theory. It don't trickle down.
Yeah, it's not. It ain't been no trickle since the concept been introduced. And I mean, another important thing to recognize about all of this shit too is that I lost my train of thought. Yeah, trickle down economics ain't real.
But I mean, and also, I think what definitely needs to be understood is that again.
My bad.
Yeah, go ahead. Did you pick it up?
I did.
Small businesses
and the money that they've been allocated. We live in a country that has been priding itself on, small businesses being the cornerstone of and a heartbeat of a lot of economies, especially local economies, especially small cities, smaller places where you don't have these big metropolises with these where everybody go get their groceries from Target and shit like that. Like everybody can't do that. What about the local mom and pop? And so those have been suffering in ways that are about to damage local economies forever, and no federal money is flowing to those places in ways that will help sustain that workforce. What about those jobs? Jobs that have been created by individuals.
And I'll say this, and we can move to the next story. It's that a part of the reason why the local businesses are suffering so much more than anybody else is because these larger corporations have been given like just free reign to price them out, right? To price gouge, to just put local businesses in situations to where they've already suffering. Right, Walmart been putting motherfuckers, like, been destroying Main Street. We know that. This is just the nail in the coffin, because while they got these larger corporations have transnational funds, that we may not be good here. We're just gonna take a loss that we definitely gonna survive. We could take losses. We just don't want to.
Big expose about Walmart, I think a couple years ago, and we found out whatever percentage of their employees is like on food stamps. Right, that whatever most of the people who work for them are on some type of federal or government.
So we talking about jobs that ain't even paying the people enough to be able to survive any fucking way, that they got to rely on government assistance anyway.
Outside of a pandemic,
right? Yeah. And so it's another reminder that ultimately we at the whim of these mother. Like when people talk about my vote don't mean nothing and voting don't mean shit. This is the instances where it do. Like this is where survival is important, because we sitting here dealing with something that we have to look to the government to control.
Yeah,
we have to. This is one of those things to where we all dealing with this shit. It like COVID don't give a fuck who would infect. Niggas is dying, which we got to get into that in just a second.
Which,
you know what I'm saying?
Noelle said something to that effect that I think is poignant. She said, even during pandemics, not all jobs are hit equally. Service jobs have high unemployment, but IT, HR, finance have seen their markets increase. Jobs that support work from home are growing. As an HR director, I am doing retention offers in these groups. There has to be a better way to get money to the people that actually need it, the people who create the service, that create the businesses that IT needs, the infrastructure that provides the infrastructure for it, the HR people who mediate and allow for there to be a workable, functional environment for people. Those people are the people who need some defense, you know what I'm saying? Some protection.
All right, let's get into this next one. The next one is the COVID vaccine.
The vaccine.
Yes, the COVID vaccines. Pfizer and Moderna.
AstraZeneca is also about to start being tested in the UK, and which means that it very soon could be approved for the United States. So there's a third vaccine being added to the onslaught of possibilities.
But in terms of what we got now and what's recently been rolled out, there's a huge and I mean, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would call this a PR push. It's a huge PR push to make these vaccines seem viable, safe, right? They got people that they think we trust taking the vaccine, so that so people can see that it's that it's like I said, the people that we trust are willing to do it, so you should too, right? That's the logic behind it. Problem with that is they running into hiccups. Now first they've prioritized this first round of vaccines is prioritized for healthcare professionals and nursing homes. Because those are two communities that were hit heavily, or two demographics that were hit heavily by the COVID deaths. So they're the first ones getting it, which is funny in the eyes of the conspiracy theory people, because it's like they always like, they want to give it to us first, then they give it to the other people. And you see, they ain't giving it to us because they want us to take it from it. So you got to make up your mind, nigga.
Sorry, bro.
Either you want to take it first, or you know what I'm saying, or you don't. Yeah, I mean,
ready to say no.
People right. Niggas just ready to say no. But but one of the more interesting hiccups in this rollout, you've had people being accused of retractable needles. There's been accusations of empty syringes, which is like, y'all do understand that injecting air into somebody's bloodstream is deadly. Like, you'll give a nigga an aneurysm, like you will die. If somebody inject blood in you, so it's no way that people are getting air injected into their bloodstream. They would have died on camera. But even though you ain't got nobody dying on camera, there was a nurse who passed the fuck out, which is one of the worst things that you could do when y'all trying to record this shit so people feel comfortable.
There was a clarification about that story, right? She was interviewed about that after it happened and was like, yeah, I have a tendency to faint. Like, a lot of people faint when they get shots, when they give blood, when they see needles, when they do that. And I think she also has a condition. So she cleared it up and was like, yeah, I just be on that shit. My bad. And so this is kind of unfortunate. And they mediated some of those things. I also, there's just been a lot, but there's been a lot of, I ain't buying it. I don't
no, that wasn't the vaccine. That was just me being me.
Yeah, I do that. I'm sorry. They call me. And it's trash that people use that as, an opportunity to undermine the possibility of what a vaccine can or can't do and letting people think about it objectively. But it's a thing, right?
Yeah, and once the image goes out, that clarification nobody gives a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that I'm saying you pass out.
Oh yeah, we look fake news, man. I'm sure that video. I'm sure that image has been screenshot. That video has been shared, and it's like, look at this, man. The vaccine is causing people to pass out. So I'm just like, well, I feel like, man, my wife had to take the test, so I got mixed feelings on it, man. We gonna see what happened with my wife, I guess. Again,
first, how y'all are y'all willing? Because I think we talked about this previously, but now that it's rolled out, are y'all willing to? Are you not even willing? More so, have you made it up in your mind that that's something that you're going to do? Are you going to go get? Because they ain't forcing it on nobody. It's like, do you want to go get it? Or are y'all just kind of sitting back, chilling, waiting for shit to play out?
I'm highly undecided. I know that as a teacher, they also want to give. We're like in the second phase of people who's supposed to get it or whatever.
Yeah, they already putting this on us too.
Yeah, and so I know the desire for like my school system to get us back in the fall is there. I don't know how extreme it is, but I do know it exists, and that those have been some predictions. And so I'm just like. And like a lot of people are like, their main argument against it, which I continue to come back to, is twofold, right? And they keep me conflicted, but I also think there are some logical answers to them. I'm skeptical. One is how they come up with it so quick, how this pop up, but we got to remember the coronavirus is not new, right? That's why the reason it's called COVID-19 is that there have been other coronaviruses that existed before that they've had to respond to and adapt to and stuff like that. And when you get like literally immunologists and people who do this shit, virologists who work on a bunch of different viruses, all say this shit is crazy and work on one thing. Yeah, it's gonna move faster. Like they say many hands make light work. I think this is an example of how you can expedite years when you literally have scientists with
the entire world working on it at the same time.
Thing, like it's gonna move. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not ignorant to that. And I think that also answers the second logical or popular argument, which is, well, we got AIDS, we got this, we got that. But again, you have different people with specialties. And as much as we want to be able to attend to those things and care about all causes, all diseases matter, I think this one ended up mattering a little bit more. This was the BLM of the viruses. And niggas was like, well, wait a minute. We're not saying that other shit don't matter. But this coronavirus here is a tricky mug. And so it's been all speed ahead. That doesn't satiate my concerns. I'm aware of the Tuskegee experiment. I'm aware of the medical distrust as a Black woman that I should have of the juridical medical complex, the medical industrial complex. The same way we look at prisons and shit like that is the same way medicine is designed to fail and use like listen, we can have a conversation. Just meet me over at Toya G. But at the same time, we get vaccinated for a whole bunch of other shit, and vaccines work, and there's proof of it, and we ain't got chipped yet, and societies have thrived off of not having polio and rubella. I mean, and so the facts is on the table. And I can be as confident as I want to and read as much as I want to, and I'm with it, and I understand, but decisions are gonna have to be made, and I haven't made mine, but it is negotiable. And taking a vaccine at some point for Toya Green personally, and I won't judge you, so please don't judge me or do it in your mind and don't say it out loud. Keep that shit to yourself. Is that anything is possible at this particular point in time?
Yeah, I think I'm and then I want your opinion on this, George. And your opinion is interesting just because you got your wife is in, I don't know if y'all can hear my son, but he in there acting a fool. But you know, your wife is a healthcare professional and she took it. My thing is, I don't necessarily get a flu shot. So it's like, and not equating COVID with the flu. I would like to see it kind of play out. I would like to see more long-term effects. I mean, we know that viruses are on average, you see a 6 to 7 year timeline for vaccines. I do agree with Toya that, you know, when you got a lot of hands on deck, you can get things done a lot faster.
Always.
But you know what I mean, speed doesn't always equal efficiency. You know what I mean? And because of it was such a focus to get it done and get it out, man, and let's not act like there was a bit of competition that was going on there. But me personally, I have to see it play out. I'm not in a profession where I'm not dealing with the threat of COVID constantly. It's easy for me to quarantine. I have been doing so here in Los Angeles. It's one of them things where they make it easy because they shutting shit everything down any fucking way.
We shut down again. I mean, first state shut down again.
Right. And so, you know, I'm more so like, you know, I wouldn't tell anybody not to get it if you have a healthy distrust of the pharmaceutical industry, like we all have here. So please don't take anything that like we are advocating for any, you know, global demonic Illuminati structure. You feel me? Nah, we not doing that. We're reasonable people though. And like Toya said, I think the understanding like polio and smallpox and it's all type of shit that we got rid of because of vaccines. So, you know, and I also think that anti-vaxxer movement is a white movement. I'm gonna be for real. Anti-vaccines for the sake of like when you talk about, you know, getting what was like cerebral palsy and all other type of shit that you get from vaccines, that is a white movement, right? Like black people, we've actually dealt with shit that some people would call conspiracies that's fucking real. Like the Tuskegee and all that other shit. I mean, that's Tuskegee just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But the tip of the iceberg was so fucking bad.
Henrietta Lacks.
You got Henrietta Lacks. You got all of that shit. So, you know, we have a skepticism that is based on experience. We should not be running to anti-vax. Just like I say about, you know, the anti-democrat movement and all that other shit. We don't need to run to the conspiracy theories of those who don't look like us, who don't suffer from our experiences, who actually deny our experiences every opportunity that they get. We don't need to use their information and their conspiracies and their logic in order to craft a well thought out argument against why you're not cutting in line to take the vaccine.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's really what it is. A lot of people are taking another middle road approach, which is just I'm gonna wait, nigga, I'm gonna see. You know what I'm saying? I think even somebody pointed out that Jamaica has taken that approach.
I'm like Jamaica, shit. I want to see what the other folks do.
They just said we're gonna let the big countries like the USA, Canada, and the UK take the vaccine first and wait to see how it works. And I completely respect that approach, right? I think as long as my job gives me the infrastructure to stay away from people, and I think my job. Both are college students that have the agency to determine how they want to protect themselves, and a job that also wants us to transition carefully and safely, cautiously. Like I'm fortunately not in a position to have to be out there in the world. I'm mindful of the fact there's some people that never left the real world, right? That never got out of there, and they still, even those people are like, I'm still not sold on anything like that protecting me. All positions and perspectives are valid, right? They all are reasonable. They are realistic. I just think, you know, you got to think about what works for you, what works for your family, and what is going to allow for you to make it through.
Amen. Hallelujah.
With not as much change as possible.
Childish.
I don't want. I think we get upset, and I've said this before on other issues, when Black people are not considered and they're not, you know, medications don't work the same for us. We're not a part of the analysis of the medical community. We get upset about that, but a lot of people don't really retort, but they remind us that our healthy skepticism also hurts us. It leaves us out of conversations. It excludes us. When you don't participate, you don't get counted. When you aren't a part of studies, when you aren't a part of stuff, they don't know how it's going to work on your ass. And so it's a double-edged sword that I'm not saying anybody is right or anybody's wrong. It's complicated. And then the other side of it is we get excited when such and such want to go to med school. When such and such is a nurse and they moving up and they doing it, we clap and we applaud them when they get and they're getting shit.
You got to trust what they doing.
But we completely blow off their suggestions, their advice, the hard work they doing, the labor that they into, the work all the way up that they've been doing on this virus, from being on the front lines to cleaning hospitals and making the food for people. And you know what I'm saying? All of that shit. We got people, Black people who working in the medical industry, and we got to validate the hard work that they doing, just trying to fight to keep everybody alive. Everything's not a conspiracy, a government plot. Niggas is dying. These numbers not fake.
Yeah.
I saw a statistic last week that say every 2 hours somebody in LA County die. 21,000 plus people in LA County dropping like flies. And I had tickets to go back home for Christmas, but I was too scared to sit in LAX because 21,000 y'all made it to the ER or wherever to get testing site. The rest of y'all niggas want to travel and fly and don't give a shit how y'all feeling and ignoring that shit.
Yeah.
I don't see myself walking through no airport to be a part. That's just me. I ain't judging nobody for nothing they do. But to each their own. We just got to make some decisions about what we're doing, because we can't apply this person, that person, cousin, auntie, this, that, and the other in that field, and then not respect their request for how we get in front of this thing.
Joy.
Man, I feel like, man, my wife took the test, so we're gonna see what happened with her. If she died from having a test, somebody gotta stay here to take care of the kids. But on the flip side, I died for not taking a test. Shit, somebody gotta be here to be able to do it. Somebody to take care of the kids. So I feel like we got a pretty good plan at the Lee household, man.
You know, you said test twice. You're talking about the vaccine, right?
Vaccine test. I'm tired at this point. I'm tired.
I know.
I didn't yawn 5 times. I'm tired.
Clearly, yeah. Let's get into the
vaccine, though, people. Vaccine.
Let's get into the last one though. Real quick. We can touch on this one real quick because I want to scare y'all. I want to put some fear. I want to fear monger. You know, that's what the big media companies do, and y'all watch them all day.
Is it okay?
Let's get some fear in these folk.
Okay.
So the coronavirus is mutating.
Yeah, why fear mongering? This is facts, but continue.
I mean, yeah, but we're just keeping it a buck with y'all. The coronavirus has mutated. In UK, it is going crazy. Officials in Britain and South Africa have claimed that new variants are more easily transmitted. According to, we using the New York Times on this one, they said that just as vaccines begin to offer hope for a path out of the pandemic, officials in Britain the past weekend sounded an urgent alarm about what they called a highly contagious new variant of the coronavirus circulating in England. Citing the rapid spread of the virus through London and surrounding areas, Prime Minister Boris Johnson imposed the country's most stringent lockdown since March. When the virus changes its method of attack, we must change our method of defense. Let me say this. Boris Johnson was pretty much considered the British Donald Trump. Whatever you consider the British conservative movement, that's what he was a part of. The fact that he's like, shut shit down, end it, cut it off, boom. We gotta roll with the punches. That's already set him apart from fucking Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, Donald Trump looked at the virus and was like, we be all right. You feel me? But I think the difference may be Boris Johnson.
Virus hit ass.
Boris Johnson almost died from it. Like he was in the hospital for real. And so like, you know, he probably has a different perspective. But I mean, from y'all perspective to close out the show, we just talked about the vaccines and all this other shit. How y'all feel about the vaccines in contrast to this mutation that's taking place over overseas?
Concerned.
No.
I think that was one of the biggest concerns before. I mean, even as we were waiting, I was thinking about this over the summer. Like viruses change and they shift, and now this is not unanticipated, right? That's what they have to come out with a new flu vaccine every year, is because the virus mutates. It is different, and so old vaccines don't work in protecting against it. That's why you get a new flu shot. And so cool, but it sucks that without even the first round seeing effectiveness and people who not gonna get it forever and a day, they could be getting some shit that already is not gonna work. Now, another part of that article, and I don't know if you read this part or missed it, but they talked about, fortunately, it's not necessarily more deadly. It's just more easily to contract, which, you know, the side effects is not good either. Nobody wants to get the coronavirus and then not be able to taste, smell, have their hair fall out, have to learn how to walk again, all of those things, have headaches and migraines and memory loss and all that shit, right? The list is a mile long. Nobody wants any of those things. And so I'm definitely concerned that in a world where a vaccine is on the table, by the time I decide to have it or get it, what's the point? It don't even work no more. The virus is 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, I think this is the part that I was waiting on, to be honest. You know, this is nature. Like viruses mutate. That why do you think we have a new flu shot? You got to get a new flu shot every season because the flu mutates. It changes every season. It changes. And my sister-in-law is in town. She is a pediatrician. And the conversation that we was having about COVID is that essentially what it's going to be is it's going to be like the flu. There's going to be a COVID season. There are going to be times when a bunch of people catch COVID, and but the idea is that we'll have the resources and the know-how to be able to combat it to where we're not dealing with it to the level that we're dealing with it now because we're so unprepared. So this is one of the things to where if you thought that okay, we just got all we were doing was waiting to see when it calmed down, like you know, you are sorely, you know, misinformed. Like when we talk about viruses and mutations, these are inevitabilities. The idea is just like, can we come up with something that's able to keep up with how it changes? Like and you see that in how we do the flu shit. So yeah, I was ready. I was ready for this shoe to drop. Because we really don't understand how far we have to go to get through it until these things happen. Like we can always hope for best case scenarios and be like, all right, you know, we got what we got. Let's go ahead and get what we need, and then we'll just deal with it yearly. It's like, nah, these types of things typically go left a couple times. They make a couple left turns before the shit gets straightened out. So
well, it is to see. We definitely got. I mean, I think the articles that I've seen say that we don't know about the coronavirus's effect on the current vaccines is still to be seen. I mean, especially since they've only just now starting to be passed out and stuff like that. So we just got a lot to anticipate. In the meantime, y'all keep hopefully wearing masks and washing your hands and staying the hell away from people.
Hopefully, do what you got to do. Take care of yourself, man.
Please, because I'm tired. I'm ready for it to be over. The fatigue is real, and niggas been trying to fight the best fight that they can. Hopefully, y'all have been too.
Hey, I mean, I'm gonna just let y'all go outside first. You know what I'm saying? Like once we kind of, you know, figure things out. I like being inside anyway. I mean, the virus sucks, and the impact that it's having on people and communities, that's trash. But I like being inside, so I'm gonna be in this motherfucker anyway. But that's the political chop. Glad y'all was able to be a part of it. Glad y'all was able to join us on this Monday. I know we got to get back at it. We plan on. We've been upgrading software. I've been upgrading software, dealing with family shit. I got a son. I got family that's coming in to visit, so I've been a little bit slow on getting certain things out. But I'm familiar with the software. I now have a process with my son. You feel me? To where we getting it figured out, and so y'all stay tuned. We got a lot coming to carry on these conversations to keep y'all updated throughout the week. And expect to see niggas doing anything more on the platform. Expect to see George a little bit more on these different lives, transitioning from being live on TikTok to being live on YouTube. We can expect Toya at some point, but we gonna make ourselves more accessible throughout this second wave or third wave or fourth wave, just so y'all, we ain't just, you know what I'm saying, learning about COVID and all the other shit, but mental, you know what I'm saying, spiritual growth, all of that type of shit. You know what I mean? And that's how we do it. Make sure y'all follow us on the Chop Up at the Chop Up Show on YouTube, at the Chop Up Show on Facebook, at the Chop Up Show on Instagram. You can find me, the Political Plug, at the Political Plug on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Toya.
Have a good night, y'all. You know, catch me at Toya G. Besides that, you know what it is.
George.
I'll holler at y'all,
Yeah,
man.
he the famous one. Y'all don't give a, y'all gonna be on his shit tomorrow anyway. Hey, but it's love. It's always love when y'all able to join us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all stay tuned. We'll see y'all next week. This is
The Chop Up.
Chop Up.
Peace out.
We out.